Yeah, but for you, have you added anything? Because I know you were like strict. It's just full carnivore,
He's not that
no
strict.
vegetables.
Maybe I'm not that strict.
You have alcohol.
Hang on. Take a step back. How I started.
Who got who into this? Are you?
Whoa,
did you get
bro.
him into this?
Whoa, bro. Why am I catching
started?
strays, dude?
I don't do carnivore. I'm not.
No, Eric
I'm not on full carnivore.
Eric Bork started it. Eric Bork started it.
Oh, really?
I was hanging out with Eric one day, and Eric was a little pudgy. And then I saw him 3 months later, and he looked like a freaking savage. He was ripped. Like, he looked like a fighter. And I'm like, what the heck happened to you? And he goes, carnivore. And he's all focused, staring at me, big eyes.
You're like,
carnivore.
maybe I shouldn't do it.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. I
You
thought
know,
nothing
Bork
of
is
it.
like the worst eater ever.
He's allergic to everything.
Yeah,
But
he
here's
is,
what this
yeah.
is. I've told you this, so I'll tell everybody else. It wasn't that Eric lost weight that put me on it. What he said after was, dude, I have so much energy. It's ridiculous. And I have no mental fog. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm locked in.
Yeah.
And at that time, that's when like Vivian was not sleeping. I was exhausted. I'm getting comments every day on my Instagram. You look tired. I was tired, right? So I started on steaks, eggs, bacon, and burgers. That was it.
Okay.
That's what I started on.
Yeah.
And
What are you at now?
Now, I'll have salads, mushrooms and onions, broccoli,
Okay.
but like it's still, mornings, freaking eggs, steak, burgers, ribeyes. It's heavy, heavy, heavy protein.
Have the comments gone away that you look tired?
Bro, I haven't got one of those in like 6 months.
Okay, so it works.
Look
It's
at me, bro.
science.
So I lost weight, which I didn't think I was going to lose. I'm back to skate weight. I got to start getting some muscle in there, though. I'm starting to look a little frail. But, like, dude, bags under my eyes, gone. Focus, gone. Don't even need nootropics anymore.
I started my carnivore diet today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just now? After that speech?
I had eggs and bacon this morning, and that's it. And I
know
have
what?
black coffee. Look at this.
This is the best thing.
Should I just go? Should I just keep it running?
Wait,
what
you only drink black coffee?
Today-
So you're not doing any dairy.
I just flip flop back and forth.
You know what I
like
never
some days I
wanna
want
do?
oat milk, and then other days I just
This
want
is what I...
Oat milk?
oat milk.
Oh, yeah. You can't oat milk.
You can't do
Yeah,
it like anymore.
yeah.
You got to go with the heavy
See, look,
cream.
I'm teed up right
This
now.
is what I never want. I never want to, like, count macros or count calories. I don't want to do that. That just
Yeah.
seems miserable.
Yeah.
And so, I posted it. I posted, like, the sickest ribeye on my Instagram. And then the next day I posted 5 Flying Dutchmen, right, from In-N-Out, just meat and cheese. And I was like, yo, this is the way to eat. Dude, my messages were gnarly. Like, there were so many people like, you can't eat that way without carbs. You're, going to destroy your brain and your muscles are going to, all these things. And then the experience I had was the exact opposite. Like, I feel locked in. Like, seriously, I was on nootropics every day for 5 years. Yeah, I don't need it anymore. I'm too locked. I can't be more
But that's
locked
such
than
a
this.
false fallacy that your brain feeds off of carbs. It actually feeds off of fat, from what I understand.
Well, you have 2 options, right? You're going to burn
You either
fat or you're
fuel-
going to
well,
burn
you either-
sugar.
No, you fuel it. You either fuel your brain with sugar, which is what we're chemically addicted to, or we pivot and we fuel it with fat, which is what it actually thrives on. That doesn't have the addictive elements to it.
Okay, so everyone, don't listen to us.
Yeah,
we
we need-
clearly no clue what we're talking about.
This probably makes more sense for like us to have when Paul Saladino's a guest.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a wrong guess for that.
Today,
right now. Yeah.
today we are going to be talking about building empires and taking over the skate industry.
And I dropped out 9th grade.
I absolutely love that. I love that. You know what? I graduated. I don't know if it matters. Do you think it matters? Like, does high school oh gosh, even I'm saying this sounds ridiculous. We grew up thinking college degrees mattered, right?
Yeah.
Now, depending on your trait, in a lot of cases they don't, right? 50% of college graduates actually use or work for somebody who requires the degree they have, within a 10-year cycle. Or a 10-year span. Do you think high school diplomas matter?
I think it only matters because if you don't graduate from high school, people think that you're a failure of some kind, that you couldn't even get past the minimum threshold. I don't personally agree with it because some of the most successful people I personally know are actually high school dropouts.
I'm all offended over here. Oh
Yeah.
my God, are you
Mikemo
serious?
being one of them.
No,
No, but seriously, like I can think of right off the top of my head at least 5 people I know.
Yeah.
Didn't graduate high school, rich as hell. super successful and extremely street smart.
Yeah.
The thing I always thought about with not like when I dropped out, because I was traveling at a young age, right? Like for skateboarding.
Well, you were like a child phenom.
Yeah, I mean, I literally dropped out when I was 15.
Sponsored by Girl at this
Yeah,
time?
yeah, because
Okay.
I was going on trips and stuff or whatever. But like, the thing I always thought about though, I'm like, who's gonna actually fact check me? Like, say if I came in for an interview, like, did you graduate high school? I'd be like, yes, and they'd be like, cool.
I don't know. Ask Mike. You're the one
Like,
that
do
interviews.
you
no?
have you ever fact checked once? Like, you go to Royal High School and you go, did he actually though?
Nope,
You're
never
like,
checked.
no, are you joking? So I always
They
thought
even
about
check-
that at a
they
young
even-
age.
they
I'm
even
like,
check
who's gonna
college.
actually care?
Interesting.
Like, what is an employer asking for your transcripts? Maybe some of them do, although I can't imagine any that
I've
do.
never had to do an application.
That's what,
I don't
I've
know.
I've never applied
I'm
for a
not
job
sure.
either, but I just always assumed, I'm like, who's fact checking these things? I was like 14 thinking about this. I'm like, who, like, no one's gonna actually, like, I could just lie and be like, yeah, I graduated, and everyone's gonna be like, cool.
But
I
do
believe you.
Do you think that people like that, like what I just said, the people on the other side of the equation say that there's a bias, survivor bias, I think it's called, where it's like you're pinpointing the very few select people that were successful, and you're not looking at the population as a whole.
For sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that.
100%.
Yeah.
If you now, I have no data to support this, so this is probably meaningless.
Do you ever have data to support anything you say?
Whoa, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa. I have a compliance
You guys are
officer
just-
that forces.
That's your data verification.
yeah.
Thank God we hired him. Which, by the way, we
Yeah.
didn't even check his college degree.
See,
Oh my
that's what I'm
gosh.
talking about. You need to fact check everybody in that you
We
hire.
have what?
We have to go-
19 employees.
We have to go
that
and verify
never-
everybody's credentials.
That's pretty funny. No, to tell you the truth. Okay, now we're not going to get into data.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah.
What I was
I'm
going to
curious.
say was I would assume that if you took every single high school dropout into 100% of the pie, probably a larger percentage of them are not succeeding financially. It's probably a minority that are Mikemos and, successful individuals. That would be my guess.
But there's a difference.
But
How many of them dropped out of high school to go do something
fair.
versus dropped out
Okay,
of
that's
high
fair.
school because they're just lazy and didn't want to do
Well,
anything?
to be fair too, I don't think my like say the investments I've been able to make and buying a house and all this stuff. It wasn't my brain that did it. I mean, I guess my brain controlled my body, but it was like I was a skater. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like actively pursuing business to make money.
don't know, I think
Now
it's-
I am, but I'm just saying like at that time I wasn't. So it's
know.
kind of a different scenario, I think.
I think you might be selling yourself short on that one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
the
to do
only
that.
reason why
That's
I'm going to say I think
typical.
you're what would the kids call that?
Did you graduate, Mikey?
Is
You for
simping
sure.
a thing? Do you still simp?
I don't know if that's a term anymore.
Anyway,
Did you graduate? You graduated.
I graduated high school barely. Okay,
Barely.
this is why I would actually say I think you're because we have so many friends that come from the skate world that don't have anything, and the ones that typically do a good job means they have money in savings. Most of them
Yeah.
don't have an investment. Period.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you were actually pretty savage with that. Bought a house, bought a rental property. Did you ever fund a 401k or a SEP IRA or anything? Roth IRA?
Maybe.
He's got IRAs. This guy's freaking
confirm
future
that you
planning.
did.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we
yeah,
know
yeah.
because-
Actually, you can't confirm.
We
it.
know
fact-
that you did.
You fact checked that one.
So you have future planning through tax incentive vehicles. I know you're invested in the stock market. You have a ton of crypto. That all came before Entrepreneur Mike was here.
So why did you do all that instead of blow through the cash?
Because it's fun,
It's
cool,
not.
and awesome.
Here's again, bro. You know what I think it comes down to? I think it's your parents.
Oh yeah, my dad.
You have solid parents.
Yeah, my
that
dad
are-
was always on me about it. Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
And your parents have more of a, at least I would say your dad has always been more risk adverse
Oh yeah.
when, helping you. So you wanted to make sure you were in safe investments that would be there for you.
Yep.
So when you dropped
He's
out,
very strategic. Yeah.
so you have a risk averse dad, and when you dropped out in 9th grade, he didn't blow a gasket.
Great question. Don't remember. Did he?
For
I think he
sure.
was okay with it for some
What?
reason. Yeah.
I wouldn't think your parents I think your parents would be like my parents. I think they would have a hard time with it.
But my dad is secretly like he really wants to also not. He wants to be like a badass too and be like because he's like a musician guy. He always played in bands and stuff, so he kind of likes that rock star lifestyle. So it's like maybe if I dropped out and I was doing something I liked, he probably was like, that's what I would have done, you know? So he's realistic too.
Right.
So, I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay, so look, I'll give you the highlights here. And for anybody who doesn't know Mikemo, this is his deal. One, he was one of the best skateboarders to ever step on a skateboard. He turned pro in high school, so he dropped out of high school. Did very well, had a successful career, at least financially speaking, right? And then got in an accident in his prime and skateboarding ended.
Yep, 24.
24 years old. I was with him. It was the worst thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
Worst
You were the
thing
only
ever.
person that took care of me, too, man. I always think about that.
Oh,
Everyone else kind of ditched me. They're like, yeah, you dumbass, you broke your leg on this golf cart. Nobody even from Woodward came and visited me, which always made me mad. But I think there was probably potential lawsuit issues, too, like if the staff were to come see me. That's what I always like to chalk it up to. But you're the only guy that actually took care of me.
I hated that night. We were at the
Yeah.
skate camp. It's called Woodward. It's like one of the most, it's like a kid's dream. It's like the most successful skate camp, period, in Pennsylvania, right? And Mikemo and Paul and who else was there? Was Malta there?
No, Malta wasn't.
What other skaters? Was Lloyd there?
Is Paul, Shane,
Shane. It's going to be
Cole?
all the guys you know. Cole.
Yeah, Cole was there.
Chris Cole.
Yeah.
Sean. Chris Cole, Paul Rodriguez, Shane. I was there. Mike was there.
That's right.
And I'm dadding at this point. So the thought of going to bed at midnight was a dream. I could actually sleep. So I go to sleep at midnight and these guys are out skating in the foam pit and they're on the golf carts, right? And then Paul wakes me up, right? Like a violent, like something's wrong. Mike, you have to get up. Mike's been hurt. You have to get up. It's not good. And at first I thought he was joking and I did the rollover. I'm like, Paul, relax. Come on, dude. And I remember him saying, he's seriously hurt. I'm not joking with you. It's bad. Pop up and frickin' go to the center square and Mike's just laying on the ground and all he's saying is, I'm done. I'm toast. It's not good, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, my leg is bent the wrong way. It's not good. And then it was dude, they took him to the hospital and we went to the hospital and dude, I was in the room when the doctor was basically telling him, I don't know if this is going to get put together correctly. This might be the end of your career.
Yeah, because nobody saw me because my leg snapped in half and I snapped it back together. So nobody saw that part of it. Yeah. So when I was laying on the ground, I just looked normal, you know. But I'm like, no, guys, this thing was seriously backwards 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
I'm
Is
like,
it because you snapped it back together that...
I would have lost my leg if I didn't snap it back together. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when his leg went out, it stretched the nerve. He snapped it back. And I remember the doctor going, the best thing you could have ever done was snap it back quickly.
Because if you let it swell, because I also, when I tore it, I ruptured an artery at the same time. So if you rupture an artery, then kink it, they're basically if you got nobody to operate on that thing and it's getting all swollen, is you're going to amputate your leg for sure.
So I remember being in there and the doctor's giving Mike the worst news and we're in there. And I remember my stomach fell out. I was and the doctor leaves and I remember looking at Mike. I'm like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. We're going to go to LA. We're going to get to real doctors. We'll be fine. Right? I was I'm not accepting this shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, dude, that was a freaking 2-year journey of trying to go get
Stem
PRP and stem cell.
Yeah, growth factors. Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
I tried everything.
So this
Absolutely everything.
This is what I think was interesting about that is your career ends with no expectation of that happening. It was a freak accident.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you didn't really, at least for what you were going to do, how you were going to make money, it didn't even feel like there was a gap. It was just I'm doing this now, boom. Is that what it was like?
Not really. I mean, it probably seems like that from the outside, but there was years of being I don't know what. I mean, I had Glassy. I already had Glassy going because of Vince. Vince was the one managing it. So, but basically there was all these internal problems as far as just organizing of, just say logistics of the company.
Take a step back.
I didn't know anything.
Take a step back.
Yeah.
So you had started Glassy, which is a sunglass company, and Vince was basically doing everything and you were helping promote it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you get hurt.
Yeah.
And I remember you had a little bit of time left on your DC deal. So you had some income
There was a
coming in.
year left. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you went, I need to get involved with the sunglass company.
Yeah, well, and also just being bored and then being curious too, of just being say I'd go to Glassy and there would be problems. I'd be like, why don't we just do it this way? I'm like, I have nothing else to do. I was like, I'll just try to figure that out, and then I'd figure that problem out. Then I'm like, well, the inventory doesn't sync to the Shopify for some reason. How can we do that? So you research that, figure that problem out. Then you're like, wait, now QuickBooks doesn't link to any. So then I just started learning every little thing of that. Then I started being like, wait, if we, on the website, for some reason, when we have this banner up, our sales go down. And then when we have this banner, the sales go up. Okay. And you just start to inch into learning all these new skills that now I do computer programming because I straight up for our website would always have to wait for somebody else to do it. I'm like, I don't want to wait anymore. I just want it done now. So then I've just figured it out.
So you taught yourself to code.
Yeah. Well, but I'm not good. Okay. I could just get by. I can manipulate things, but it's not like, it's not like I don't want to claim I'm good over here, but I can manipulate a website and make things happen very fast. So I don't have to wait for anybody anymore.
Did you ever go through a point when all that ended where you kind of hated skateboarding or didn't want anything to do with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hated skating a lot for a long time. Now it's been 10 years since I got hurt. So I'm going to say the first 6 years, it was basically 2 years of thinking I'm going to get it back together. And then year 3 being there's no way, not happening. And then year 3 to 7, 6 probably, I was I want nothing to do with it because I can't have it. And then I'd say 4 years ago, I was slowly just inched my way back into being interested and care about it again.
Was your feed still all skaters? Did you hate even going on Instagram?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would see somebody rolling up, say they're in a nollie stance, about to go pop down some stairs. I'd be like, let me guess, it's nollie flip because scroll by. Let me guess, they landed it, right? Because otherwise, why would they post it? They're not going to post a bail. Who cares? So I just was getting, I think it's just what's the, it's when you break up with a girlfriend or something, and it's you don't want anything to do with them, and then years later you could be friends with them again.
Yeah.
It's almost like that. It's you need those years of being apart from each other to actually be accepted with it.
And then what happened? How did you get to a point where you're I miss skating and I want to get more involved? And
I just naturally kind of happened. I don't even know. Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe it was the judging. The street.
Oh, actually, judging Street League kind of made me in a way, you're right, because I started seeing everybody again, and I just thought that was cool. I was these are all my friends from so long ago. Just you'd see everybody, and it was just exciting to see everybody again. So then, it's just slowly opened the door back open mentally for me.
Mm. Did you just have your board come back out? Your original? No, that was Paul.
Yeah, Paul's board.
But you guys did a release with it with ABC or
ABD.
ABD. Jeez, you and Barton really screw me up. We have a friend that has a company called Already Been Chewed.
Oh.
And then yours has already been done. And it's ABC and ABD. That gets me every time. Nice shout out to Barton.
Yeah.
You guys helped release it, or did you guys do an NFT with it?
No. We just released it.
That was all you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
so we
sick.
just got Girl to agree to do it, and then Primitive obviously had to accept it too, or be okay with it. And Paul really wanted to do it though. He was the one driving it.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you guys launched ABD, I imagine we're at the point where skateboarding was okay again. You were back to loving it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what was that about? Glassy, you were bored of Glassy? You just wanted to work on something else? You saw an opportunity?
I think with ABD, it just seemed that nobody else, for some reason, was caring about the history of skateboarding or trying to make collectibles for people that actually care about just skating in general. Because you think back, you're damn, I wish I could have a Eric Costin autographed card. I was just thinking of it from that perspective. My friend Mike Marasco is the one actually that approached us about the trading card part of it, and then we were well, what if we did this and this and this and this, and we've kind of just kept evolving it, and it's all based on just skateboarding history stuff. So anything, yeah.
Go back to the 2 years.
2 years
after you got hurt.
Okay.
When you were trying to get back into it, what was that like?
Trying to get back into skating?
Yeah. Talk about the resiliency.
Yeah, I don't know.
Were there dark days?
I wouldn't say they were like, not to be. To me, it wasn't that dramatic, in a way. Like I always feel optimistic about things, so I just always thought, I'm like, well, if I do this injection, this is going to be the one, and then this injection, and it's like, I just always felt that. I mean, there was hard times with it, but like I always it was just like, it is what it is, and that's always thought. Everybody's like, oh, it could have been so much worse, and I'm like, yeah, it could have been better too. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
like here we are.
The thing about getting hurt, like constantly as skaters, most times your body can be put back together. It's usually not the physical rebuild that becomes the challenge. It's usually mental. And so you get so used to controlling your mind from running off the deep end that you're constantly kind of lying to yourself. Like, it's fine. I'm going to get through this. I'm actually going to come back better. I won't be fearful. And then you end up doing it. And so I'm imagining with him, because he didn't know if it was truly going to be end, you were running through probably the same process we all run through when you get hurt. Right?
Yeah, or even like when you're trying a trick, right? You're just like, you try a trick and you mess up and you're like, the next one I got it. The next one I got it. The next one I got it.
Can you imagine?
That's the mentality. It's
Can you imagine if investing was like skateboarding?
No, this sounds like the definition of insanity.
It sounds.
That's what I was going to say. It would be like you and I lost on an investment.
Oh, it sounds like me with coins. I'm like, the next one, man.
Yeah, totally.
The next shit coin is going to hit, I swear, man.
What's the last
Oh,
coin?
I can't wait till somebody comes out with a coin called coin.
I think there is a shit coin.
Oh,
Is
it
there
exists
really?
for
I think
sure.
there's a shit
Yeah.
coin. What? I mean, if there's a Hawk coin, there's a shit coin.
Yeah.
What's the last coin you bought?
Should I look?
Yeah, I'm curious. Phone's right here.
Where is it?
Right behind your feet. On your yeah, what's the last coin you bought?
Let's see. Oh, actually, I do know. I forgot the name of it because I didn't care that much, but it's let's see. It's that's right, fart coin.
Fart coin.
Yeah, I got fart coin.
And like what?
Would you recommend that one?
And
Yeah.
what?
Your recommendations.
What drives you towards buying fart coin? What's the thought?
Yeah, what's the
behind
due
that?
diligence?
Yeah.
Oh, there's none. It's just equal to sports betting or something like that to me. It's just like, but a sports bet, you're like, I could say if I put $100 on the Super Bowl, right? You're like, I could get $100 back. Cool, whatever. With this, you're like, if I put 100 on it, is it going to turn into $500,000?
Yeah, but my question is like, how do you know? Like,
Oh,
do you find
it's gambling.
influencer? Oh, okay.
It's gambling.
That's a difference. It's not an investment.
It's not an investment. It's gambling.
Okay, so but you have coins that you view as an investment.
Yeah, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, those types of ones. Like
Do you have XRP?
I do have XRP.
Do you have Solana?
I have that one.
Hedera?
I don't have. That's H-bar, right?
H-bar,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was actually, believe it or not, Mikemo has always been my friend that like on all like the early trends, he's usually first on all of them. I would always call him. Like even on Pin High, right? Anytime I'd win crypto, we would have the people screen grab like a Venmo and then I would purchase it. And I even called you. I'm like, bro, this can't be the way. And you're like, no, you just send them a freaking QR code of your wallet. They send it right through.
Yeah.
Yeah, learned that last week. That's good for Pin High.
Oh,
All
wait,
right.
you just learned that?
Bro, I called you, 2 weeks ago to ask you about this?
I don't even remember.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Because maybe I'm like, there's no way he's asked me this.
I legit asked you that. Yeah. Gosh, man.
I remember I think I got you on like Facebook and MySpace. Not in MySpace.
You got me on
Facebook.
You got me
Instagram.
on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. Yeah.
You got me on Facebook.
And then ever since then, this guy's been social
I
media
took over.
addicted.
I went on.
Now look at him.
I went hot.
This guy produces content like what? It just.
Every day.
I don't know how you do that.
Every day. New piece every day.
I don't know how you do that.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
That trips me out. How do you have the energy for all this crap?
He's on
Carnivore.
carnivore.
Besides carnivore. You were doing it before carnivore.
I was doing it before. You know what it is? To me, it's just like skateboarding. Like when we were skating, it was 4 hours every day, no matter what. I don't miss a day.
Yeah.
Right? I'm really routine based, actually.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, content comes out every day. Here's the discipline. Here's the routine. This is how to make it happen. And Mike knows, like, I'm a little bit, like, I have a non-negotiable on not maintaining it. Like, that's one of the last things I'll do is accept that something can't come out. The challenge right now is I haven't been posting on the weekends because I'm doing something new with the family where I don't use my phone Saturday and Sunday.
Nice.
So I'm going to have to start getting better at like scheduling.
Yeah.
But it's like anything. It's just priority and discipline.
Well, because I always wonder that with the family of even from you're going to be mayor soon, right?
I'm mayor pro tem right now.
What's that?
I'm mayor pro tem right now.
That is such a
Was that just mean next year you're up?
It means that I'm like vice mayor.
He's on.
I'm on call.
On.
If
What do they call it in baseball?
On deck?
On deck.
I'm
On
like
deck.
vice mayor. So if our mayor is ever out, I go and kind of, take his place for that moment.
Wow.
Yep.
See, like you do that, you have what, 26 kids or something,
I have 4. I have 4 right now.
and then this, obviously.
Yeah,
and
with
then producing
commune,
content.
and then content.
You're a machine. Trips me out.
Carnivore, baby.
Whenever I'm like working and I'm like, oh, there's so much stuff to do. I'm like, you always pop in my head. You and Elon actually pop in my heads. I'm like, well, they do it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
That is good company to be in.
Well,
right
I'm talking
there.
about just pure like,
Well, you know
like
what?
just,
You know what the secret
just
sauce
doing
is,
it.
though?
What?
He has good people around him.
Oh yeah. This guy's complimenting himself right now.
I was
100%.
I was thinking
100%.
I was thinking Mike and Ryan over here.
Yeah.
No, Mike's good too. All right. I want to talk about.
Hey, do you feel left out by you're the only non-Michael in this room? It's 4-1 right now.
Dang. Dang.
He's actually happy about it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I want to talk about the takeover.
I don't know if that's the right term.
Bro, who.
The takeover is not the right term.
You don't think so?
Hostile takeover?
I think
This thing has the potential
I hope it's a
of
enhancement.
being astronomical,
I hope so.
right?
I hope so.
This is Dana White stuff.
I hope so.
Mike's launching a skate league
Oh, really?
called PSL.
Yeah, PSL.
And I don't want to ruin it because we're going to talk about it, but he showed me everything. I mean, it is rad. It's completely different than anything we've ever seen before.
Is it time for the skate world to have something different come in?
Oh, absolutely. I think the market has kind of been stagnant for the last. I'm gonna say, when's the last time skating really changed in a way? Like it's something new. I shouldn't
Like
say
not
changed, but
trend
something-
wise, you mean?
I just mean something new to skating. Like I would say, what Street League 15 years ago.
Yeah, Street League was a change up.
Yeah.
We had never well the thing about maybe X Games you could say, but like
Yeah.
I would say contests coming into skateboarding where contests became normalized and skaters actually put contests as a priority. That was a big shift in skateboarding because
And that was because of
me
Street
growing
League.
up, I think you as well.
We were
like
street
contests,
skaters.
yeah,
Yeah.
you never did contests.
No, yeah.
Why?
Maybe Tampa.
That didn't matter at all.
Wasn't cool, and the way people skated in contests was different than how we skated in the streets, right? Like in the streets, you're pushing to stuff. You're not
Yeah.
pumping ramps, and so you'd have these guys who were like really good at skate parks, and then they would go out to the street spots, the stuff we did, and they just looked funny.
Yeah.
And so, and it was just different. And then you started seeing this trend where like really good skate park skaters were also good street skaters. And then nowadays, like you just skate both and you're good at both and it's totally normal.
But there's also too like some contest skaters barely even film video parts.
Yeah.
And they're probably, top 1% of paid pros. And it's like back in our day, it was like if you were a contest skater, you basically weren't a street skater, right?
Yeah, and you didn't really make money either.
Is there a rivalry between them?
I don't think so. I mean,
It was like two different worlds.
it was just two different worlds.
It was like it was like they might as well been like snowboarders. It was totally
kind
different,
of, yeah.
right? Or like
Yeah,
vert
you're right.
skaters.
Yeah, you just don't even consider them as it's like a different sport
Yeah.
in a way. You know what I mean?
That's what I think. Okay, so PSL, what are we doing here? Is this going to
know.
disrupt skateboarding?
No, I don't. I think that's dramatic to say.
I'm too hot on it.
I hope it. I think it has a good chance to do it just because of just what everything we're doing differently. But I don't know. We're gonna see what happens.
Okay,
That's-
so
yeah.
why has skateboarding had such a hard time on a contest level transferring over to normal people, non-skaters?
Yeah.
Why hasn't it got viewership in the Olympics or anything it's done? Why has there not been crossover?
I think it comes down to, I think the biggest thing is it's a format problem. That's kind of what it is. It's like, if you think about why any sport is actually successful, whether it's UFC to NBA, NFL, NHL, whatever it is, they all have the exact same common goal at the end of it, which is like, the format is yes or no. So it's like, did the ball go over the fence? Yes or no. Did the ball go in the hoop? Yes or no. Was he behind the 3-point line? Yes or no.
Did he get knocked out? Yes or no?
Yeah, UFC. That, which is arguably, I mean, it's not even arguably, it is the most objective thing. Did you knock him out on his face? Can he get up? No. Okay, that guy won. You know, so to think of it in that sense, I think is why skating is too subjective. So you need to like figure out a way to make it objective. You need to make it yes or no. So with what we're doing is our format, it's a yes or no format pretty much. So I think, and if you look at the numbers too, of just as far as how many people skate in the world versus how many people golf versus how many people play baseball, they're all actually pretty similar. Like the interest of skateboarding is huge. But if you look at the numbers of skating, of like, say from a league point of view, you add X Games, Street League, Battle at the Barracks, you put all those together, it's only like 50 million views or something like that. And that's just strictly on YouTube though. Like I don't know, say ESPN deal with X Games, I don't know those numbers or anything like that. But my point is, it's like, why do we only get 50 million views? And the interest is, let's say 85 million skaters, that's the number I know. I don't know how true that is, but 85 million skaters and only 50 million views. But say golf, 85 million people play it and billions of views. Like what, why? Like the interest is clearly there. Enough people skate where I think it can have a good chance. It's just why? It's because the format is broken, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So if it becomes a yes-no format, you have to assume that that's going to bring people in that don't know skateboarding or don't skate that will actually have interest in watching it.
I think so, because you can actually you can watch it and you don't need to think about like all these little micro rules of being like, all the nuances, right? Like, a nollie flip versus a switch hard flip. Which one's harder? And it's like a never ending debate, because it's like one trick's harder for some people and it's harder for other people, the other one. So people judge it differently and the fans don't agree with the judges. And then it's always like a constant debate. And I just think it adds confusion. And if there's confusion, then you're going to lose viewers. That's pretty much what it is.
Actually, the UFC comparison, I think, is actually really good because UFC is, do you think it's equally as technical as skateboarding is? Right?
I don't know anything about fighting.
You did jiu-jitsu for a long time.
Yeah.
You didn't skate, but maybe you talking from a fight standpoint, very technical.
Extremely.
Right? When I watch UFC, I know nothing about what they're doing. All that I'm looking at is, did he get knocked out or did he submit? Right?
That's what every common viewer, if they don't know that sport, that's what they think.
I'm the perfect example.
I look at it through like when they are on the ground.
Yeah, you're watching
and people are booing. That's the most interesting part of the fight for me.
So when they're on the ground, you're watching the moves they're doing, how they're getting out.
You are?
Total
Wow.
chess match.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
See that starts happening.
I want to see blood. That's what you want. You want blood and knocked out.
it's just
knockouts.
gladiator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
you want the brawl.
Yeah,
I don't see it as a brawl.
You're the guy thinking about the nollie flips versus the switch hard flips.
Yes.
And we're the guys just being like, I don't care. Did he land it or not?
Did he win?
Yeah.
Yeah, but a big part of UFC's rise to fame was the show. It was the reality show that they did, The Ultimate Fighter.
That got people connected with the individual.
That show did well because they got it on Spike TV, if I'm not mistaken. Then the finale, the fight was so good that from the moment the fight started, viewership was X. And then as they got into like the third round, it went up like times
awesome.
500X.
Right.
You know, like everybody was just calling each other, like, you got to watch this, you got to watch this, you got to watch this. And that was really what put him on because it created a human element for the people that were involved in the fight game. They weren't just being looked at as fighters anymore.
Yep. Yeah, it makes sense.
So UFC, you don't own or have teams, but in all the other major sports you do. Are you going to have teams?
Yeah, this will be a teams event too.
Team event.
Which I always thought was a big myth. I've thought it for years though. Like when I first got on Girl, I think it was like say 20 years ago, however long ago it is. it's like I was always like, I'm on girl. I wish we can like, I don't even like contests, but I always wish we could like compete as girl. You know, it's like we all go out. Say if we ever did skate a contest, you'd go skate in as an individual, of course. But like, you're like, being a team is such a part of our culture, and we don't compete as teams. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like I just think that's dumb.
Right.
So,
So you're gonna have teams.
so we're gonna have teams.
Who's gonna own the teams?
Well, we'll get. You know, we don't.
Oh,
know.
we're not talking about that?
Not yet. Not
Oh,
yet.
my bad.
This first one. I mean, there's like what we're trying to do. There's long-term goals and there's short-term.
Can
right?
I say this, or is this too soon? Am
What?
I an owner? Am I buying something?
We should own
Did
a
I-
team together.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Team
I want.
owner.
Yeah. That's right.
Instagram bio. Woo! Adding it to the resume.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, that's probably a cool thing, huh? All right, let me know when
I
that
think
opens
it's
up.
fun. Yeah.
What's required?
A check.
Yeah. Money.
No, but this would be great. Like,
yeah.
I'll motivate the boys. You
Yeah.
know? Who's on my team? I'm like,
Are you gonna capture that though? Like, is that part of like the content that you guys are driving, or is it just like the skating events? Are you gonna get like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. But so that's what I'm saying. These are two different. Like right now, what's coming up? Like
I'm getting way ahead of myself.
Yeah, so I mean, I just want to take it a step at a time. But like, if I talk about long-term goals, it's going to be a different conversation. If I'm talking about just getting this first one going, right?
Right.
This first one is January 25th, which
Dang, that's coming up.
yeah,
Whoa, bro! I don't
You
think it's
gotta-
on my
you gotta-
calendar.
Yeah. It's here. When's this come out?
This is
When
going to
you
come out
tell us to
before.
have it come out,
This is
really?
going to come out before
unless we can't roll it out prior.
January 25th, huh?
Yeah, so January 25th is going to be the first one.
On Saturday. Weird.
Nothing?
Nothing.
See,
I have
it's
nothing.
meant to be, man.
What do you mean it's meant to be? No, I'm saying I don't have it here.
It's
not on
meant
my
to be
calendar.
that he's here telling you about it so that you
Oh.
can be there.
I thought you meant like there's nothing on your calendar, so you're good.
You
Yes.
see,
And
all
then
three,
it's
all,
let's
three,
get something
all
on my-
three of us interpreted that statement differently.
Yeah, I'll be there for that. Okay, good. So the first event is the 25th. Where is it?
It's going to be at Paul's Park.
Is it open to the public?
Yeah, it's gonna be invite only.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's private. So I'll
Exclusive.
send you a link. Yeah, but anybody watching this too, if somebody wants to come, you got to go to our website and sign up, and then there's a little checkbox that you click, and it says, "Yes, I swear on Sean Malto's life that I will be there."
Stop.
And if you don't click that, then I'm not gonna send you a ticket.
You put
So,
Sean.
yeah, put
as-
Sean Malto's life.
Does Sean know?
I didn't even ask him. I just did it.
Sean is our he. Maybe you could qualify this statement. Sean is my friend that. Oh God, I gotta think about the best way to say this. He is the least reliable friend I have when it comes to showing up to something.
Yeah,
Fair statement.
yeah.
So that's funny that you would have him be the guy that you're putting his life
That's
on
true.
the line.
He is going to be the host for this thing, though, too.
Okay,
Like,
so-
he's going to commentate. and
Okay,
stuff,
Sean's
so He
commentating.
better be there.
Are there teams for this one?
This will be teams, yeah. So we have 8 skaters, and it's 2 versus 2, and it's like so 4 teams, like mini championship bracket style.
Who are the teams?
The skaters.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to? Yeah. I mean, this will come out, and yeah, okay. Yeah,
You at some point you
I'm just trying to think,
At
yeah.
some point you have to tell
it's soon. Like I'm gonna announce it like very soon. So I just want to make sure that it's the right timing.
We're
But
t-
anyways,
Okay. Who are the teams?
P. Rod, Deshaun Jordan,
Ooh.
Miles Silvas, and Art Cordova. I don't know if you know Art
I
Cordova.
do. He's good. He's from
He is so
Ventura.
good. We've tested these games.
He's so good.
The games we're doing, he's been at every single test one, and I'm like, dude, he's gonna blow people's minds.
Art's
Like,
undercover. He's not
Yeah.
well known compared to the people he's said, but he is so good. He's gonna turn heads.
yep. And then Nigel Houston, Zach Zaracino,
Dang.
which they're
That's
gonna,
a cool combo, but that's different.
yeah, for sure. Nigel will surprise people, like in the sense of like, since this is stairs only, it's not handrails, it's stairs only. You can't skate yeah.
Interesting.
So like Nigel, I think will shock people in that sense.
Yeah, so
Dang.
this pod's gonna come out January 21st, so people will have 4 days
Yeah.
to RSVP and show up to it.
Yeah.
So we're good on time.
Dang, stairs only. Okay, so far I'm with Miles and Art. Let me hear the rest.
Yeah, it's
That's
gonna be
so far
interesting.
who I'm with.
And then the last one
Going
is
against Paul?
Um,
Uh-oh. I'm with my boy P-Rod.
well, this is the challenge. Miles is so freaking good at stairs. He's so good. And Art is like a perfect pairing trick wise to maybe what isn't in Miles' bag, even though his bag is huge.
They both, yeah, I don't know.
Deshaun's good at stairs too, but shoot, man, I don't know.
Deshaun and Paul will be a good team together,
They'll be a good team.
because they do have different skill sets.
I have to take that back as you say that. Even if Paul got last place, I'm riding with Paul. Yeah.
And then it's Chris Jocelyn and then Roman Hager. So Roman Hager is just like an AM kid that like also will blow people's minds. He's also somebody that we've been testing these games with.
Who's he sponsored by?
He's kind of like more of just a flow kid. He's kind of just random,
Flow
actually.
kid.
Yeah.
Taking the barracks approach, huh?
Well, I think he's really good, and people are going to be shocked by him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is this going to be aired?
And people want the underdogs to come up, or like the new kids. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be just all
I'm
the
with
heavy
you.
hitters.
I'm
So
with you.
I want to sprinkle some
I think
some
you
new
just
blood
have to,
in there.
Yeah, sprinkling I think is the right way.
Yeah. So all those teams together, I think. I mean, Chris Jocelyn, I think, is gonna. He can do absolutely everything. See, but this is what's interesting about this format, is you start to think about their skill sets and how they pair together.
I know.
And it becomes, it's very strategic. It's not just like who's the best or like he's the sickest, you know?
Yeah.
It's like actually like you start to really calculate, oh, this guy's good at like switch flip type of tricks. This guy's good at 360 type of tricks. They're going to be a good team together. They're going to be able to defend everything. And I don't know.
What's the winner get?
It's going to be interesting. And I haven't really even talked about that to anybody. Everybody's just kind of down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there going to
Where-
be?
I mean, this whole thing, I'm just personally funding this first one.
Where
Oh.
are people going to watch
So
it?
we don't have sponsors. We don't have anything. It's just like a full test and just going to put it out there and see what people think about
Where are
it.
you launching it?
Just YouTube.
Sick.
Yeah, stream it.
I
Stream
like
it to
that.
YouTube.
Is it going to be live?
We're going to film it first and then edit it and then make sure we like it the way we want or make everything the way we want. And then we're going to just upload it as like a live premiere type of thing on YouTube. And the reason we're doing that too is just because, first of all, if you do a live broadcast, the amount of problems you could have on something where it's our first one.
Yeah.
And say we bomb on that, you're like, okay, we're out. We're already screwed. So we need to edit it, make sure, use it as a template for future ones when we actually want to do it live in the
Yeah.
future.
Who's filming it?
Do you know who Ira Ingram is? Do you guys know Ira?
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he actually does broadcast stuff and he does film for a living. So it's just, he's good at that. But just from a budget perspective as well, we're like, do we want to spend 20 grand on this first event or $100,000 on this first event? And me personally, like with no sponsors, I'm like, I don't want to spend 100,000 on this event.
So this isn't a coin.
This isn't a coin. It could be a coin. I hope it's not.
No, but I'm saying you're putting thought into this.
Yeah.
You have
So it's not a
long-term
shit
vision
coin,
on
no.
it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a gamble. The
Yeah.
deck that I've seen is really good.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
you did a lot of that deck yourself, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I had somebody design it, but I was pulling
Okay.
the strings on the whole thing.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if this thing works, what's
Yeah.
the next one? What's the next one look like?
See, I want to use this as a pilot to then take it to sponsors and get funding for it so we could actually do like a whole first season. And I want the season to be like how kind of like NFL Sunday is. It's like every Sunday, you know, for 16 weeks, you're going to be able to watch your favorite football team. I want to recreate that same thing with the team aspect to this because you go, okay, I want to do 6 weeks for the first season, every Saturday for 6 weeks.
Got it.
That's my goal because then when you do that, you can actually have good storytelling arcs too throughout the whole thing. I think UFC does an amazing job at that. Even like Dancing with the Stars and those types of shows, like I'll sit down and watch it with Caitlin, and I'm like, why do I care about this person? You know, like I don't care at all. I don't even know who this is, but they seem kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then they do their little
It's
dance.
what appeals to the non-diehard fans.
Exactly. And so like from a storytelling perspective throughout a full season, you start to really be able to build that. You start to go, okay, like this is that Roman Hager kid. He's a rookie. No one barely even knows his name right now. And now he's projected to be MVP of the whole season, right? Like those are the arcs that people want to see. And then you get to know that person and you latch onto it. So like if you're watching it with somebody that doesn't care about skating, they might just be into that story while you're into the nuances of skating as you are with fighting, you know? So that's like, we want to build that storytelling. And I feel like the only way you could do that properly is that you go week to week on it.
Right.
instead of being like, okay, let's do one every 3 months and see what happens. You know, like that doesn't work.
In theory, would it be series 2 where people own teams
Well, season 2, you're saying?
after the pilot?
Well, after the pilot, yeah. So that's why I'm like teams right now, the team owners, I'm gonna really start figuring that out after we launch this and just see what the perception is. Because say if people don't like the format and they think it's boring or whatever, then okay, at least we didn't commit to $1 million first season.
Right.
We're just committed to a $20,000 one-off. So
You want to own a skate team with me?
Possibly.
Possibly.
look.
What's the
say
hesitation, dog?
After the
I'm intrigued.
after
that's
the
good.
20, after the 25th though, if you go, you should come, by the way, if you're free. But let's
No.
say you go
What is
there.
it?
Saturday spot.
Let's say
Saturday night or day?
night.
Oh, he'll be there. We'll be there together.
I want it to be drinking fight night UFC style.
Cigar
you know?
lounge in the back.
I want-
We'll go do it. It'll be a due diligence night for us.
Yeah.
Right?
And I built a fantasy app for this thing.
Oh, bro, you
Already.
sold. That's all you needed.
So this first one on the 25th, we're gonna have a fantasy app on it.
So you're gonna be able to bet on this one?
Well, I mean, it's just like it's fantasy, so it's just for free. Like you could just go like heads up, like say me and you, let's create our lineups and let's see who's right. I'll bet you.
Oh, and then you make bets.
You
and-
just make homie bets, you know.
got it.
So this first one though, what I'm gonna do is in between, because there's gonna be 3 matches, and in between each match, I'm gonna have the audience be like, "Hey, you guys can sign up and you can make your little fantasy picks." And then whoever in here got the most right out of it, it's all over-unders on everybody's stats. And whoever got the most right, I'm going to give $500 cash to whoever in the crowd that got the number one best picks. So that way, I just want people to be like, understand what the total vision of what we're trying to do is. It's like, not only does this format make sense from like just a common viewer, like you can see it and you don't need to know all the nuances of it, but also you and your friends could just make little fun like bets with each other.
I can't
Which
wait.
I think is like a huge driver for the NFL.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, think about like
the gamifying it is big.
Are
Yeah,
you
you
gonna
gamify.
bring any non-skaters to see what they think? You know, because we were originally
skate?
talking. No, no.
I don't know half the names you mentioned. I didn't know who
Yeah.
he was when I met him.
yeah,
He
yeah.
knows the skaters that are invested with us are the skaters he knows.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
his broadband.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
They'll be there.
Yeah, there's going to be non-skaters for sure.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
interested to see how they like. Because talking about the crossover, like like as a diehard skateboarder, you want the skate audience to like it first.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
dude, if this has like an ability to tap into like everyday people that will never skateboard but find interest in it,
Yeah.
you're the next Dana White. That's you,
Maybe.
dog.
Maybe.
You know what I'm
We'll
saying?
see.
The next Dana White sell to CA for 300 M's.
He's got a big beard.
My guy can make.
Gets
can
rid of
make
the
that
hair.
happen. Dana
He's
White
doing
is
deals in
I
Vegas.
think Dana White's carnivore. You're on the path, man.
Is he carnivore diet?
Yeah.
For sure.
He's something. He's
Yeah.
keto, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he's doing something.
he's carnivore.
He's one of those things.
He looks like a freaking savage. I'm telling you, it's insane.
What do you think about Dana White?
In what regard?
Business.
Yeah, he's phenomenal at business. Phenomenal. Yeah, he has all the qualities you need to build something very large. There's he's love it or hate it. He does not care at all if you don't. So he has an
Yeah.
ability to push forward the way he wants, regardless of blowback, which it can be hard, but you have to have that when
He's
you're trying to build something.
extraordinarily resolute and strong
Yeah.
in standing for what he believes in.
Yeah, he's strong personality. But like, that's a business. I don't know him personally. So I'm giving it no gauge on like the actual personal side, but he's a phenomenal entrepreneur.
I mean, I think just like his business acumen is out of this world.
Yeah,
a
I would
true
say-
visionary. He took the fight game that has been the same thing for decades and decades and decades and revolutionized it in a way that nobody thought would work, faced all the obstacles along the way, and managed to blow this thing up in a way that I think if you said to yourself, I'm going to do that today, you'd probably say, can't happen.
Yeah, and I would say the thing I probably like really recognize with him entrepreneur wise, when lockdowns hit, he was like, I'm not firing anyone and we're going to go figure this out. And like, dude, you could argue that was like the most public discourse we've ever had. And he was like, I'm doing it. He's such a, I don't give a shit. Respect that, you know? Mike's a little bit different. There is some similarities.
I'd say I'm a lot different than him.
But you know where there's similarities actually? As long as I've known you, you've never cared if people don't like what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you definitely have the, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. You have that.
Yeah.
Your delivery is much different.
Yeah.
You're not so punch you in the face.
Yeah.
But dude, you are opinionated about what you believe in. You're forward looking. You're diligent. Like you do have a lot of the characteristics that he has that I think you have to if you're trying to build something.
Yeah.
And then you go for it.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be able to take risk. If you can't
gotta
take risk, you'll never build a business.
High pain tolerance.
High
is
pain
crucial.
tolerance. Gosh, that's such a good one. High pain tolerance.
Physical and mental.
Physical and mental.
That's
Yeah.
right. Anything else you want to share on PSL? Because I want to talk about Chuck.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about Chuck. You don't know who
No,
Chuck is.
I mean, yeah. I should have brought him. He just has a little mic right here. No, I just for PSL, it's just I guess
Come on the 25th, check it out, support it.
come hang, see what happens, and then if you hate it, let me know, and if you like it, let me know. Either way, it'll be interesting, regardless of the outcome.
All right. All right.
That's how I entertain myself, at least. You know, I'm like, well, I guess if I, like I said, this first one's about $20,000. I'm like, if I lose 20,000, that sucks. But at the same time, I would rather go for something that I have thought enough about and care enough about, where if it flops, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because then at least you know.
At least I know.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit there and be like, yeah, I had this, you always see those people, they're like, yeah, I had that idea about 10 years ago. And you're like, why did do it then?
Yeah. That's my
You
worst
know?
nightmare.
Well,
That
the
to
opposite
me-
side
That's
is
my
true
worst.
too. There's a lot of people that put way more than 20 grand just to see if something works
True.
before they realize it's something.
That's
doesn't.
true.
Exactly.
So
But
this is a very well calculated move.
100%. But from just a principle standpoint, it would be worse for me to spend the rest of my life wondering what would have happened
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
than lose the money.
I agree.
Even more than 20 grand.
Yeah, I
that
agree.
would eat me alive.
Yeah. And then
You
if
know?
somebody else did it and they did it successfully, like if they figured out that format that we're about to do or whatever it was, similar version, and you're like, I had that and I didn't do it, that would eat me alive too. I can't do that.
I actually remember this vividly because I was young and I'd never heard anything like this. Steve starts the barracks when I don't know how old I was, 22 or something like
Yeah.
that. And it was it was huge. It was a disruptor when it hit.
For
right?
sure, yeah.
And I was sitting with somebody that had no involvement, two older guys, and somebody brought up the barracks, and one of them said, it's not like he created something that had never been thought of before. Like, I've thought of doing this.
Yep.
He just did it.
Exactly.
And I remember hearing that, and for me, that was actually really encouraging because
Yeah.
I never felt like I was somebody who was going to redo the wheel and come up with this we're going to Mars type of idea.
Yeah.
And to think oh, you know what? It's not about inventing. It's just about doing. I was like, dang, I could do something.
Well, look what you guys have done.
Yeah.
It's insane when you think about it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Sometimes we don't pause to appreciate it.
I
Honestly.
know.
I mean, look at this wall.
You're so in the weed.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. Sometimes the numbers that we talk now and the way you just throw it out, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have recognized myself.
I thought about
yeah.
that actually yesterday when I was talking to an investor about Ventura. I was like, it's a $42.7 million project. He's like, what? How much? I'm like, it's 42.7. He's like,
You're not even.
you guys
playing-
are doing
yeah.
projects that big? And I thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, holy, we're doing projects that big. But the number is just so ingrained in my mind. To me, I became, desensitized to it.
And what was the first project amount? Like
That
where'd
we
you start
raised
at?
or total cost?
I'm just saying, you said 42.7,
The
whatever.
first one
yeah.
we did was 10.
Okay.
$10 million.
And still, that's still insane.
$3 million raise. And I remember I had a friend group, and I remember going to them going, guys, I've got a big project here. I've got to raise $3 million. And the scary part is I only had 45 days to raise it because of the terms that you set before you close. And I was tripping. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I could raise it that fast. And like now, like, dude, the Ventura project, that's almost an $18 million equity check. And it's crazy because, and I'm just like you, the way you throw that out now, like I'm talking to investors, man, we'll put down 18 million, and then next year we've got a $5 million check every month for 15 months, just boom, 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 boom. It's like, it's nuts.
That does sound, yeah.
But I think this is maybe like for anyone listening that's like, you guys are out of your minds. I think this is probably the important note. When I started my first business, raising $1 million sounded out of this world. Like that was crazy talk. And then we figured it out and we did it. And then, the first project we did was 3 million. That was scary and terrifying. And now, like this next year, we're scheduled to raise $75, $80 million. That is still like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. Can we do it? And so you get to a point where what you believe was not possible becomes your new norm.
Yeah.
And so then you just have to ask yourself, do I really need to go through all these stepping stones to get to what's actually possible? Or can I just go for a larger number?
You have to prove yourself first.
Do you?
You can't just go straight to it. And like, say you're inexperienced in what you're doing. You've never done, say, commune. You've never built this before. Just going ground up on it. And you're like, I want $100 million. I'm raising, or $80 million. Who's going to believe you?
Fine.
Yeah.
But did the first number have to be 3? Could it have been 20?
Do you think it could have?
Knowing what I know now? Yeah.
See, knowing what you know now, but knowing what you didn't know, put yourself back then in the same position.
That's actually not what I meant by it.
Okay.
What I mean is knowing what is possible to put the same knowledge I had back then.
Yeah.
And understanding like what actually is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 20 million was possible.
Is the amount of effort from, let's say, that $48 million, 42, whatever it was, and the 10 million, is the effort almost the same, but just the numbers different? Or is it different challenges when you scale up on
That's a good question.
Like, let's say it's 4 times the cost. Is it 4 times the amount of problems?
No, there's economy of scale.
No. Yeah, there is a scale. There is a point of diminishing returns when you get to this too.
Yeah. So from a capital raise standpoint, you're going to put the same amount of work in to get somebody to give you 25 grand as you are to get somebody to give you 500,000. Right? So what you start seeing on the capital raise side is when you start raising more money, you start raising the minimum investment, and then it takes you the same amount of work to raise more. So on the capital raise side, I would say it's equal. Is that fair?
I would say on the capital raise side, there's an aura of arrogance that I think, don't purposefully put out there. But I would give it, maybe this is a terrible analogy, but I would draw it to a guy who's in his 20s, is just starting to date, doesn't know how to talk to a girl, doesn't know how to pick up on a girl. Now, fast forward, he's in his 30s. He's got some experience. He's making some money. He's driving a nicer car. He has an aura of confidence about him, and now it's just kind of coming his way. You hit that point, right? And it's driven mostly on track record, right? So it's like, we've done a number of projects. We've had success. Investors have gotten paid. Now, all of a sudden, there's momentum.
Yep.
And the momentum is building upon itself. It's building upon itself. And now you're not necessarily having to go out of your way to seek the people. The people are starting to come to you.
Yep.
Like you're talking to a buddy, I won't say names, but like you and your uncle, the financial advisor, then they wanted to talk to us. And then they came in on a project. So all of a sudden that, starts to build up, and you start to get like this momentum and this flow going. And all of a sudden you can bring in more. So like raising $3 million, too easy. We could do that super easy.
Yep.
Yeah, but
raising
when we
$75 million though.
When we that first $3 million was the harshest grind I have ever been a part of. It was. I was talking to everyone. Yeah. But he's right. There's 2 things that happen, and one is very similar to the girl, or the way you speak to a girl scenario or analogy. When you're looking for a girlfriend, you're not finding anyone. Right? Because desperation is coming off. You're seeking, you're kind of wanting it. The second you don't, well, all of a sudden every girl wants to talk to you, right? There is a similar vibe in raising capital, that if you're coming off like you need capital, no one's giving you capital. The second you're like, I don't need your money, man. They're like, here you go. There it is. You're like, I don't need it. There's more. So there's that. And then I would say the other dynamic, when you start talking to bigger investors, the position of status is very important. And so if you're raising money from somebody who is significantly more wealthy than you, it's sometimes challenging to put yourself in the, what would you call it? The superior kind of status frame, alpha frame, when you're not at their income level. So you have to learn that. But on the project level, I would say probably the biggest challenge doing bigger deals is like, do you have the resources to save the deal if something goes wrong? And you start getting to a size that you just can't, right? If we were going to do a $200 million project, which we had a project that would have been that, one of the factors of us deciding to sell it was if something goes wrong, we don't have the resources to keep it alive. It's just too much dollars. So I think there is an element that you need to scale accordingly.
Yeah.
But my whole point was we typically set the possibility bar lower than it is.
Yeah.
You know?
You think a lot of people do that?
I think everyone
I mean,
does.
that's Grant's whole concept behind 10X, right?
I think there's few that don't. Elon absolutely doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
But he
I would
scaled
say
up too,
Grant,
obviously.
actually what I would say about Grant is I think Grant struggles with it the same way we do. I think that's why his 10X concept was so relevant for him, because he recognized it, and I think he pushes himself to constantly be raising the bar. But I think Grant would tell you, no, I set the bar lower than what's possible. We do, you know, Elon doesn't.
But he scaled up too, though. It's not like he just came out as a billionaire. You know,
No.
like he one business at a time, climbed that ladder.
True,
But
but
he went. He
you
goes
think
all
about the
in.
businesses that
he
he's
doesn't
done.
even buy a house. He lives on a couch and puts
The
everything he
amount
owns on
of
it.
risk
Oh.
he's willing to take, though, is unbelievable.
High risk.
Yeah, high risk, high reward. I love it. I can't wait for the 25th.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the opportunity to potentially buy a team.
I'm intrigued.
I love that. The fact that Mike's intrigued means we're onto something here.
Good. That's
I can't,
awesome.
I can't wait to see the new Dana White of my time. I saved the video from earlier to see it. I absolutely love you. How can people find it? What's the website for people to sign up to come?
Yeah, pslskateboarding.com.
That's it.
And that's it. You go there, you're going to see I swear on Sean Malto's life. I'm going to go. Or no, just keep me updated. There's those two options. So, one or the other.
We need Sean alive, so if you're going to check that box, make sure you show up.
We do. We do. Excuse me. Got it. Sorry.
for coming, man.
All right. We love you guys. Thanks, Mikey. I can't wait.
It's going to be fun, man. It'll be interesting. That's all I got. That's all I got.